A very good evening to you. Welcome to the World Now at 4. I am Udwak Daniel. First, let's talk the headlines. And on the headlines, Nigeria COVID-19 cases rise above 42,000 with 404 new cases. Still on the headlines, IGP orders intensive patrols, assures adequate security nationwide. Matt Hancock hints at self-isolation extension as he voices serious concern about second wave rolling across Europe. IMF approves debt relief to Burundi. And on sports, Saka says choice between Nigeria and England, a tough one. And now the news in detail. Nigeria has recorded 404 new cases of COVID-19 in 18 states, bringing the total to 42,208 in 36 states of the country plus the FCT. 19,004 patients have fully recovered and discharged, while 873 patient deaths have been recorded, and so the number of active cases is 22,331. According to the latest information released by the Nigeria Center for Disease Control, 106 of the new cases are in Lagos, 54 in FCT, Rivers 48, Plateau 40, Edo 29, Enugu 21, Oyo 20, Kano 18, Ondo 15, Ogun 10, Ebonyi 9, Ekiti 8, Kaduna 6. There are 5 cases in Cross River, Kwara 4, Anambra and Delta have 3 cases, Imo and Nasarawa also have 2 cases, Borno has 1 case. The Inspector General of Police, IGP Mohammed Adamu, has directed the commissioners of police in all Nigerian states and the FCT to strengthen confidence, building patrols everywhere in the country, particularly on major highways and around critical national infrastructure. This was contained in a statement made available to journalists in Abuja on Thursday by the Force Public Relations Officer, FPRO, Frank Mba. The statement said the IGP congratulates the Muslim faithful in the country as they celebrate this year's Eid el-Kabir festival and assures all Nigerians of adequate security. He calls on them to voluntarily comply with the ban on all mass social religious gatherings and other preventive orders intended to curb the further spread of COVID-19 in the country. The IGP enjoined the citizens to cooperate with the police, noting that the measures have become imperative due to the rampaging COVID-19 pandemic in the entire globe. Away from that news story, the Deputy President of the Senate, Senator Ovie Omo-Agege, has disclosed the Senate's preparedness to hit the ground running with Constitution review exercise straightway after the Salah break. The Deputy Senate President made this known when he hosted Women Education Advocacy and Development Initiative, as well as League of Women Voters of Nigeria in his office. Omo-Agege said there are a lot of bills dealing with women's rights advancement and amendment of the 1999 Constitution will pay attention to them. The Deputy Senate President, who also heads the Constitution Review Committee, said the panel would take into account experiences from other African countries. He, however, clarified that the sexual harassment bill recently passed by the Red Chambers is not targeted at university lecturers, as some people insinuate. And now moving away from that to this story, the Executive Secretary of National Human Rights Commission, that is the NHRC, Tony Ojukwu, is advocating the domestication of all relevant regional and international treaties and protocols to adequately address the increasing cases of human trafficking in the country. He said this as Nigeria joins the rest of the global community to commemorate the 2020 International Day Against Human Trafficking, observed annually on 30th of July. Ojukwu emphasized the need for diligent prosecution, curtailing delay tactics by defense counsels in courts, and speedy trial of human trafficking cases so as to tackle what he called the disturbing uneasiness, which is a major violation of human rights. He urged victims and survivors, as well as their families, to continue rejecting the illicit trade and encourage Nigerians not to stigmatize victims. The theme of this year's celebration is "Committed to the Cause, Working on the Front Line to End Human Trafficking." And now, away from that news story to this one, the Nigerian government has announced October 5 to November 18, 2020 as dates for this year's Senior Secondary School Certificate Examination, that is the SSCE, organized by the National Examination Council, NECO. A statement signed by the Director, Press and Public Relations, Federal Ministry of Education, Ben Gung, said Minister of State for Education, Emeka Nwajuba, announced the dates at the end of a two-day meeting with chief executives of examination bodies in the country. The statement disclosed that the ongoing registration for NECO SSCE will end on the 10th of September with no option of extension. According to the statement, the National Business and Technical Examination Board, that is NABTEB, examinations will start on September 21st and end by October 15, 2020. Meanwhile, the National Common Entrance Examination into Unity Colleges will hold on October 17, 2020, while the Basic Education Certificate examinations for JSS3 pupils, also conducted by NECO, will start on August 24 and end on the September 7, 2020. The Federal Executive Council on Wednesday approved the payment of 15.21 million euros and 1.708 billion naira towards the counterpart funding for the Presidential Power Initiative. This is a power upgrade and modernization program between the Nigerian government and Siemens AG of Germany, with the support of the German government. Minister of Finance and National Planning Zainab Ahmed disclosed this to the State House correspondent at the end of the 10th virtual FEC meeting presided over by President Muhammadu Buhari in the State House. This week's approval at the virtual Federal Executive Council meeting ratifies President Muhammadu Buhari's earlier approval and its directive to the Ministry of Finance and Ministry of Power to begin the pre-engineering and financing aspects of the Presidential Power Initiative, that is the PPI. Recall that the President earlier directed to the two ministries and the Bureau of Public Enterprise to conclude the engagement with Siemens AG to start the pre-engineering and concessionary financing aspects of the PPI. Kogi State Governor Yahaya Bello has vowed to ensure justice prevails concerning perpetrators of the Wednesday attack on Agbudu community in Kogi Koto Karfe local government area of the state, which claimed the lives of 14 persons. The governor made this known in a statement issued by his chief press secretary, Onogu Mohammed. Governor Bello said that the criminals cannot escape the consequences of their wicked action and promised to sustain the ongoing operations against criminals in the state. The governor commiserated with the family of the victims of the attack and the entire Agbudu community. There were reports that unknown bandits wiped out 13 members of one family, while 6 others sustained degrees of injuries. When the news returns, news from other parts of Africa. Do stay. Welcome back and thanks for staying with us. Mali's opposition has again called for President Ibrahim Keita to resign, once more spurning a compromise floated by the West African leaders seeking to resolve a political crisis in the country. Opposition leader Choguel Maïga told a news conference that the only watchword remains the resignation of IBK. He said a second phase of civil disobedience would occur 3 days after the Muslim festival of Eid al-Adha, which the faithful will celebrate this week. Mahmoud Dicko, a Saudi-trained imam considered the figurehead of the opposition June 5 movement, also told reporters that he had asked the Prime Minister Bobo Cisse to step down. The movement has not shifted from its position that Keita should resign, despite several high-profile efforts to mediate the political impasse. A 5-day vaccination campaign is ongoing in South Kivu, Democratic Republic of Congo, that is the DRC. The World Health Organization, that is the WHO African region, tweeted that more than 1 million people to be vaccinated against cholera in DRC. Meanwhile, the latest situation reports from the 11th Ebola virus disease outbreak in Mbandaka, Equateur Province, DRC, shows 64 confirmed Ebola cases, 4 probable ones, 31 deceased, and 24 recovered. And now moving away from that, the International Monetary Fund has approved a debt relief package worth $7.63 million to Burundi. IMF's total debt relief is now $251.24 million given to 28 developing countries. The grant is meant to help Burundi service its debt from July 21st to October 13, 2020, providing resources to cushion the country against the health and economic effects of the pandemic. Mitsuru Furusawa, the IMF Deputy Managing Director and Acting Chair, said the COVID-19 pandemic is having adverse economic impact on Burundi, creating exceptional fiscal and balance of payment needs as the economy slows down abruptly. Furusawa said the IMF will also grant the country an additional debt cover for October 14, 2020 to April 13, 2022, subject to availability of funds. This will bring its total debt assistance to Burundi to $24.97 million for 21 months. The IMF Executive Board approved debt relief under the Catastrophe Containment and Relief Trust to provide $7.63 million over the next 3 months and potentially up to $24.97 million over the next 21 months. And now away from that, the legality of President Cyril Ramaphosa's announcement that public schools will close for 4 weeks is due to come under the legal spotlight. Democratic Alliance, that is the DA party, filed papers in the Gauteng High Court, Pretoria, in which it is asking for an urgent order declaring the announcement unlawful and unconstitutional. The party said the president's announcement had not yet been published in the government's gazette. The DA is therefore of the view that the announcement has no legal effect and that schools should technically not have closed as there is no legal requirement for them to do so. DA spokesperson for higher education, Belinda Bozzoli, said in an affidavit that South Africa was a constitutional democracy and not an authoritarian state. Minister of Education in Zambia, David Mabumba, sacked by the country's President Edgar Lungu after nude video clips of him went viral on social media. The minister's dismissal was contained in a statement from the presidency signed by Lungu's spokesperson, Isaac Chipampe. Although no reason was pinpointed for his sack, media reports are linking it to the video, which has since generated a lot of controversy in the country and around Africa. Police in the country are now investigating circulation, while Mabumba has been replaced by Dennis Wanchinga. Former British Cabinet Minister and leading anti-apartheid campaigner Peter Hain has demanded the extending of sanctions against key Zimbabwe ministers and security chiefs over what he labeled escalating human rights violations in Zimbabwe. Speaking in the British Parliament, Lord Hain said 3 women have recently been abducted and tortured. Opposition MP and former Cannon Collins scholar Joanna Mamombe, together with Netsai Marowa and Cecilia Chepiri. On July 20, highly respected journalist Hopewell Chinono was arrested and denied bail for supporting an anti-corruption protest and faces 10 years in jail. The former British cabinet minister said, apart from rampant corruption, there is a pattern of ongoing human rights violation on the cover of the COVID-19 crackdown. On Monday night, MDC Alliance Youth Assembly National Executive member from Bulawayo, Takunda Madzana, was taken from his home and brutally tortured by suspected state agents. Assailants gruesomely fractured his body parts before dumping him in the bush. We move to other parts of the world after this break. Do stay. Welcome back and thanks for staying with us. The United Kingdom is taking action to protect the country as people raise serious concern about a second wave of coronavirus, which is clearly now moving across Europe. Secretary of State for Health, Matt Hancock, expressed worry about a second wave, explaining that he is worried about it because the world can see it happening. On extension of self-isolation period from 7 to 10 days, Hancock told Sky News that this is a decision which is clinically led. He said the government will also do what is necessary to protect people and is guided by the clinical judgment and science in this. According to the Health Secretary, the government is taking measures to ensure that the country does not directly bring cases back where there's a big spike in cases. And now away from that story, U.S. President Donald Trump has said that if Congress doesn't bring fairness to big tech, which they should have done years ago, he will do it himself with executive orders. Trump said that in Washington, it has been all talk and no actions for years, and the citizens are sick and tired of it. The U.S. president said the drug companies are spending millions of dollars in advertising against him because he is lowering drug prices massively, 50% and more. He added that after many years, the game is finally up for Big Pharma, and they are not happy about it. Trump said that he is happy to inform all the people living their suburban lifestyle dream that they will no longer be bothered or financially hurt by having low-income housing built in their neighborhood. He assured them that their house's price will go up based on the market and crime will go down. And now to the story. China's ambassador to London has accused the UK of seriously poisoning relations between the countries and warned it would pay the price if it shunned Beijing. Referring to disputes over Hong Kong, tech giant Huawei and alleged human rights abuses in Xinjiang, Liu Xinming said the UK was at a critical historical juncture in how it wanted to treat China. He warned against allowing Cold War warriors, seemingly a reference to Donald Trump's U.S. administration, to further the issue and make it pending. And speaking during a live news conference broadcast on Twitter, he rejected claims of abuse against Uyghur Muslims, condemned the decision to exclude Huawei from the UK's 5G network, and warned the UK not to interfere in Chinese internal affairs over Hong Kong. These actions have seriously poisoned the atmosphere of the China-UK relationship, he said. China respects UK sovereignty and has never interfered in UK's internal affairs. And now away from that, a British national wanted for drug and weapons trafficking in the United Kingdom has been arrested in Dubai, the police said in a statement on Wednesday. Craig Martin Moran was arrested by the police after a red notice was issued by Interpol, UAE Daily, the National reported. Moran is the leader of Colin Gunn, a notorious gang in the UK. Khalil Ibrahim Al-Mansouri, Assist Commander of Criminal Investigation Affairs at Dubai Police, said they will set up a task force to catch Moran in coordination with British authorities. He said artificial intelligence was used to locate the gang leader and closely observe his movements before the arrest. He was inside his car after leaving his Dubai residence when the force team members raided his car and were able to control and arrest him, Dubai's Criminal Investigation Department Chief Jamal Al-Jalaf said. Still to come is sports. Do stay. Welcome back and thanks for staying with us. Bukayo Saka admits it will be a difficult task to choose the country he will represent at international level. The Arsenal youngster is torn between choosing to represent Nigeria or England. Saka has attracted both countries following his impressive form for the Gunners this season. He has featured at international level for England's under-17, under-18 and under-19 squads. The versatile winger insists it is a decision that will require careful consideration with family members at the right time. Saka said in an interview that he is happy to have represented England at youth level, but he is also proud of his Nigerian heritage from his parents. He added that they haven't been picked by any team, so it's about staying humble, and when the time comes, they will make the decision. Away from that sports story to yet another sports story. Nigerian Football Federation, that is the NFF, has congratulated the chairman of beach soccer, Mahmoud Hadejia, who has been elected chairman of Africa Beach Soccer Union. Hadejia was unanimously elected chairman of the newly formed Africa Beach Soccer Union, that is the ABSU. He was chosen during a virtual meeting of the steering committee earlier this week. The federation wished him the very best and for the foremost beach soccer protagonist and chairman. And that's the world now at 4 on KNN 24 TV. But before we go, another look at our major headlines. We told you on the headlines the Nigeria COVID-19 cases rise above 42,000 with 404 new cases. Also on the headlines, IGP orders intensive patrols, assures adequate security nationwide. Matt Hancock hints at self-isolation extension as he voices serious concern about second wave rolling across Europe. IMF approves debt relief to Burundi. And on sport, Saka says choice between Nigeria and England, a tough one. Remember to visit us on Facebook at KNN24 TV, on Instagram at KNN24 TV, and on Twitter at KNN24T. Our YouTube channel is at KNN24 TV. I am Udwak Daniel. Thank you for watching.